If you're a real estate agent, you probably think you know what a financial professional does. And honestly, you're probably not wrong. But you're also probably only seeing about 20% of the job. So today, I want to pull back the curtain and show you the difference between what people think we do and what we actually do. What people think we do and what we actually do behind the scenes. So, from conversations with agents, here's what I hear most often, right? This is what I hear most often. Financial professionals sell insurance, right? They set up investments, they help with retirement accounts, and yes, that is a part of it. That's a part of it. But that's like saying a real estate agent just opens doors and writes contracts, right? That's the visible part of the job, but not the actual job. So the real work happens before any product is ever discussed, right? So what we actually do is analyze cash flow. We identify financial risk. We stress test household finances. We evaluate debt impact. We map long-term scenarios and coordinate protection and also planning. So in many cases, we're helping families answer questions like, what happens if my income stops? What happens if someone gets sick? What happens if markets drop? That's not selling. That's not selling. That's planning. So from a real estate perspective, this matters more than most people realize. Because when a buyer has no emergency buffer, when a buyer has no income protection, when a buyer has no financial margin, one surprise, can turn into missed payments, forced sales, or failed long-term home ownership. And our job is to make sure the purchase is sustainable, not just approved. The best agents I work with understand this. A financially stable client is a better long-term client. And when we work together, we help reduce financial surprises. We increase buyer confidence, we improve long-term outcomes, and we protect referrals and reputation. So that's not competition. That's collaboration. And real estate agents and financial professionals, we actually have a lot more in common than most people realize. We both deal with high stakes decisions. We both deal with emotional clients. We both deal with long term consequences and major life transitions. So we're not just in transactions. We're in the trust business. So if you're a real estate agent and you're watching this, here's my little takeaway, right? What you see us do is the tip of the iceberg. What we actually do is help make sure your clients can keep the home. Not just buy it, but keep it. When financial professionals and real estate professionals work together, when we work together the right way, everyone wins. And the person that wins the most, that's most important winning, is the client. The client especially.